So you got people asking, should we wait? Should we buy? It's a difficult question to answer. We get this every single week. Here's the thing. I feel, again, personal feelings, the market's not going to change quite as much as people want to see it change. And what I mean by that is, are you likely to see demand slow? Yes. It's likely to tail off some for sure because of affordability, because of rising rates, just factors in general, people getting burnt out on the market. That's going to happen. I don't think you're going to see the increases in supply that some people want to see because of where rates are. And so with that, I don't, the market has been irrational, for the last year, 2 years, Josh. I mean, can we say that it's been fair when you see 18% appreciation almost year over year? I mean, it wasn't exactly that, but high double digit appreciation 2 years in a row. Not good, not sustainable. We need a slowdown. And even the worst predictors out there in the market at the moment, the CoreLogics of the world, those guys are expecting 5% in 2023. So if you're a buyer, if you think you're going to be buying a home this year or next year, and you think even if appreciation goes to 5%, you're still going to be paying more for that home down the road. And many people think rates are going to go up. Now, we've talked about rates here and predictions and all that stuff. And at the moment, who knows? But if rates do rise and you see appreciation go up, you're going to be paying more money for that home. Even if home prices don't go up and rates go up, you're still going to be paying more money for that home. So we talk about it all the time, longer term time horizon. If you have time on your side, you can withstand bumps, pullbacks, whatever it is in the market. Not saying that's going to happen. It's just that's what it allows you to absorb, if you will. So as long as you have that money in the bank, not stretching yourself, I think now is a good opportunity to buy a property, because I think if you do see a pullback at all in prices, buyer demand is going to be there. There are still a lot of people that want to buy homes. There are still a lot of millennials turning prime buying age. Guess what happens right behind millennials? Gen Z turns prime buying age. So you've got a lot of people that are going to be home buyers at some point, and there's not enough supply. Still not enough supply. They can't build it fast enough. So, Josh, what do you want to add to that? I mean, it's the same question we get all the time.
Same question every week, and Jennifer Lego, our moderator here, has been watched long enough. Is a smart girl and would have got to this on her own, but says, hey, it's better to buy when it is right for you. There's nothing telling me in the current market that someone whose life stage is correct, they're settled in their relationships, they're settled in their job, they have good credit, they've saved some money, and they want to own a home and be somewhere for the next 5 to 7 years. There's no reason not to buy. But think about that. What did we just name off? Like 5 different qualifiers? Like, if you're not sure of what your relationship is, either it could be breaking up, or you could be entering into a new one that might change things, make you move somewhere else, having a kid, number of things could impact.
What I wish we could get was the slide from the Habib's thing today that showed Diana Olick from CNBC. So she's the housing expert on CNBC. He goes back.
Hold my beer, Jeb. I got it.
Do you? You're going to pull it up?
Yep.
So this is what happens when you watch the news, so to speak, or the people out there that don't have boots on the ground, that are merely reading headlines nonstop. So I can't read that because it's clearly way too small on my screen.
So hold on. I can make it bigger on this.
There we go. So basically, these are her comments going back from, I thought it started earlier than 2015, but from 2015. So she starts by saying there's a housing bubble, larger than 06. 16, she comes out, we're in a housing bubble. 17, home ownership doesn't build wealth. 18, it's better to rent than to buy in today's housing market. 19, the housing market is about to shift in a bad way. Again in 19, next year will be hard on the housing market, especially in the big cities. 2021, housing boom is over as new home sales fall to a pandemic low. And then you go and look on the right-hand side, what happened each one of those years with regards to appreciation. So if you started with a $300,000 home in 2015, that home based on the median home price and appreciation in those market is $505,000 today. So had you listened to Diana Olick in this case, you would have missed out on being a homeowner. Now, each case is a little bit different. Real estate's local. This doesn't apply to everyone. But what I'm trying to stress here is too many people get caught up in the, worrying too much about the value of the property tomorrow. And I talk about this all the time. What's the property going to be worth next week or a year from now? If you're buying for the right reasons, again, longer term time horizon, you're comfortable, it's as good a time as any so hopefully this little, screen in itself gives you an idea of, what's happened over the market. And, the
Jeb,
market again is expecting 5% next year. So add another 5% to that.
This doesn't tell you exactly how bad it is. This tells you how much appreciation you missed out on. So you missed out on $205,000 of appreciation. You would have dropped the principal by 30,000. So you'd owe about, with a 30-year fixed, you'd owe about 270 on that. That's if you borrowed 300. You would have put, say a 3% down, you borrow 290. So you would owe 260. You'd have $245,000 of equity. Now, if we overlaid here what has happened to rents in this time frame, they also have probably ticked up about 5% a year. So when we look at that, if we go from 3,000 to 5,000, 300,000 to 500,000, you're what, a 40% increase? Your rents increased 40%. Your mortgage didn't. In fact, somewhere here around 2020, you would have refinanced that 3.75, 3.5 rate for a 2.75 rate, and your payment would have actually decreased. So when we talk about these things, it's anyone that tells you it's always a great time to buy today. Today is the right time to buy. Bullshit. It's not always the right time, but there's no red flags telling us that now is the wrong time. So if all those other dominoes line up, other things being equal, you want to get these factors in your favor as soon as possible. Jeb, we're already here. We can look at a couple of these other charts here and show. We talk a lot about the different generations, and we talk about millennials. We're here in this year, so we have 2 more years before we get to peak millennials turning 33. And if you look back to 2006, this was where we hit peak Gen X, and they fell off a cliff. This is 2004, 2005, 2006. And the chart I've been looking for, and Barry being the genius that he is, had this one. So this is household growth.
Yep.
So they're decreasing right as home completions were shooting through the roof. Yep. And now we have the exact opposite. Even with increasing home completions, we have more household growth than we have.
Go back to the chart before, because I think it's important to note what you just said there. So if you see, what is it? Where was it? The largest drop since 1946? It was right here, right? So if you see Josh's little cursor on the screen right there, those home buyers, those people born that year would have essentially been prime buying age about the time of the last crash, right? So when Josh goes to the next chart, you see that drop off, right? It translates right into 05, 06. The blue is those buyers coming into the market as prime buying age. The yellow, as you can see, are home builders building property. So way more homes built than people actually becoming prime buying age. Now you have the opposite. Now, many of you probably understood that the first time Josh said it, but I think it's just, when you're going back and forth on that graph, it's important to know what you're looking at. So again, it's not the complete answer. It's just a piece of the puzzle, right? The puzzle has a lot of pieces here, guys, just a piece of it.
And so if you go back here and look at this, I don't expect 11, 18, and it's looking like year over year, the last numbers from CoreLogic, which are, their projections are terrible. Their data is really good. It's a paired sales analysis. Anytime someone tells you about median home prices are flawed on the way up and on the way down. Yeah. An analysis like Case-Shiller does is they look at the same homes selling over time and how those change. So same bed and bath count, same lot, same neighborhoods, and they're saying 20%. So I'm hoping it moderates soon, but again, we're looking at an even bigger number. Now, no one wants or thinks that can continue forever, But when you look at the supply demand imbalance, when supply is limited, demand is high, prices go up. I think it's pretty reasonable that we look somewhere in the 3 to 6% in the foreseeable future once things get under control. So again, now we're up here in the $500,000 range. If you go forward for 5 years at 4%, you're looking at another $200,000.
Well, the best part is 2022 is not even on here.
Yeah.
Right. So add another, I don't know, let's be modest and say 10% on the bottom of that thing. So that takes that 505 up to 550 at that point. So yeah. Anyway.
Lots of good data in there. Data can be used to manipulate and mislead. So always be careful. But all of that data is what gets missed anytime someone wants to tell you that there's a housing crash coming. There is no housing crash coming. The thing that can cause a crash is a massive wave of foreclosures. Most everyone is in homes at very low loan to values with low mortgage rates that they can easily afford. Homeowners are in a better position than renters. Feel bad for renters who over that same time frame have watched their rents go up 50% and they have no protection. There's no equity. They don't have a fixed payment. They don't have it, they're not looking at their 2015 payment. They're looking at their 2023 payment. So you don't make decisions out of fear of missing out. You don't make decisions because I have to do this under pressure. But as soon as it is reasonable in your life and you are able and capable of buying and qualifying, that's when you do it.
Yeah. And I'll leave you with the average homeowner in 2021 gained $55,000 in equity. Simple. I mean, and that's not counting paying down the principal, not counting the down payment they put down initially, how much equity they have in their property. You've heard us talk about $185,000 on average of tappable equity. It's because of, that's why, again, homeowners have a greater net worth, 44 times greater net worth than those of renters. But anyway, we're moving on.